sassy, a little bit crazy, a little bit classy. We got dreams and we got goals. We're just a couple of old sassholes.
And hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
We love to say hello.
We do. So we do it as many times as we can in a short period of time. But we should probably say hi from Owensboro, Kentucky. This is a Couple of Sassholes podcast. I'm Brooklyn Maple.
And I'm Heather Terry.
And this is our true crime fun hour. Fun hour. I mean, I think it's fun, but it's probably not an appropriate word to describe true crime, of course. But it's our fun little hour. We spend some time talking about some crazy shit. That's what we do.
Yeah. I use humor as my coping mechanism. So we cope with the darkness with laughter.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, so it's been one of those days for us here in the KY. We have had the most insane fucking weather. And I say that because my fucking phone is down. My phone has kaputzed. Well, number one, my phone's been on hospice care. She's been in hospice care for at least 3 weeks. She's been doing all that shit, acting like she is not going to make it through the summer months. And I know that. I'm requesting a new phone currently. But then my tower decided, fuck. I just hit my glasses on the mic pretty hard, and then it got
Threw
me.
her for a loop.
I know.
Anyway, the weather's crazy. Toto flew past the window about 3 to 5 times.
Yeah.
She made me go outside because she's from the Midwest. She's like a Midwestern dad. Made me go outside. My dad does that all the time.
I am a Midwestern
You
dad.
are a Midwestern dad in more ways than one.
That's entertaining. That's funny. I find that actually hilarious.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I want to do is like one of those themed parties and everyone dress up like their dad. I've been wanting to do that forever. But I just don't have enough theme parties to like make that happen.
Yeah. I love that you actually want to throw a theme party though. Very proud.
It'd be easy. I just need bibbed overalls and a flannel. And I'll
you
be
need
Dwayne
way more.
Maple.
That would be your dad. But I'm thinking like New Balances that are stained from the grass type of dad. Like that's.
Well, you do it like your dad. And I would not be dressing as somebody else's dad. I'm not going to disrespect
just like
Dwayne.
a dad.
No, your dad. Who wants to
to
dress like a dad? You want to dress like your dad.
But my dad doesn't dress funny. Like I want to. And neither does yours.
I know. My dad's adorable.
I know. I want to dress like a funny looking dad.
Heard.
Yeah.
I want to dress like my dad so my dad can laugh whenever I show him the photos. Be like, I dressed up like you for a party.
Oh my God, you look just like him.
I know.
You guys have the same face.
Fucking taking notes. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it to it. What else has happened?
What else has happened? Can we please talk about this? I saw this on Instagram and it's really stressing me out. So, someone at Pink's concert,
Oh my God, I know.
when she was singing, threw a bag on stage and she picked it up and was like, "Is this your mom?" Like,
How did she know it was her mom?
no, like picked it up and looked at it like that is.
Here are my... Okay. Firstly, what is up with everyone throwing shit at people right now? Kelsey Ballerini just got hit in the face.
Yeah.
And then that happened like yesterday. Like I just saw a brand new video. She just got hit in the face. And then the other one...
What's that other singer?
I can't remember.
Everybody's yelling at Kesha? No.
She's not even a thing anymore, is
Yes,
she?
she is.
No. When was the last time Kesha had a new song?
Like 3 months ago.
No way.
I promise.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I guess
She's still out there. She's out here.
fucking unicorns
Who
and shit.
got hit in the face? That's going to drive me insane.
I don't really care, but she got stitches. So anyway, we need to stop throwing shit at people on stages.
especially
Unless they're strippers
people.
and it's dollar bills.
Right. But how? I can't even get like a water bottle into a concert. How are you going to get a family member?
It's a baggie of ashes.
But like, how did that get in? Because they check your bags. I have questions.
Yeah, but it's not, and it's, why couldn't you?
Because I don't know. They don't even let you bring in like Cheetos. So I didn't know.
Yeah, because you're not going to eat that. I don't see why they would tell you not to.
Anyway, but
it could be a really, like, if it wasn't as weird as it was, you could want to like let the ashes on the ground of their favorite concert location.
Yeah, like,
you know what I mean?
or you could take it to a Kelly show. That's what you should do with mine. You just gave me the worst look.
No, I'm not doing that.
But like, don't throw them at her. And then they said that she like walked over to the speaker and kind of shook her hands off, like it kind of threw her.
I wonder why.
Right? I know.
That's so bizarre.
Isn't it? That is very, very weird.
People are fucking nutso.
Speaking of that, and then also
There's more nutsos.
There is more nutso
stuff. What's
there
going
is. Well, I got you when I went to Nashville, Indiana, and I bought you some treats.
You guys, firstly, sassafras and the other one of them's root beer. Like she got me those old timey candies that you probably would find at Cracker Barrel in the white bags. One of them tastes like root beer, and it's like,
what is it? That whorehound?
So strong. They both taste terrible, to be really honest with you. Well, Travis and I both, I opened them when I was a little buzzed up, and I ate one. It was like, blah, and threw it away. And then I ate the other ones like, blah, threw it away. Really? And Travis goes, ooh, who got old candy? And then he put it in his mouth. He was like, oh.
Well, I got one of them one of them was called Whorehound.
Yes.
And the other one was called Sassafras because Heather.
Sassy.
So that's why Drunk Heather bought them for you.
Oh, it was sweet and wonderful. I'm definitely going to re-gift that to my parents or something. Like, it's got to be.
Back of candy.
Yeah, because it's probably something that they like from their, it's definitely, it's an old time candy. Yeah. So I feel like it's an older genre and it would be reminiscent of something that they had when they were younger.
But,
strawberry, those little strawberry candies.
The ones that they just appear on your grandma's counter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are awesome.
Those are so fucking good. I get them every fall.
Let's just get them now.
Okay.
What's stopping us? We're adults.
Nothing is stopping us with cavities.
Nothing's going to
our sugar problems. But those things
Diabetes.
are the first one. Right.
But yeah, so other thing with in your little package
was the Stallion cigarette sticks, guys. Do you guys pause everything you're doing, pull over on the side of the road,
pull over that ass too fat, whoop whoop,
and it just blown away by it.
They still make candy sticks.
I can't believe that there were candy cigarettes, that there were actual candy for children that would get you excited about smoking cigarettes when you were of age to smoke cigarettes, because all of our parents smoke cigarettes, and you could fake smoke your fucking cigarettes. I literally was like, I'm going to take these, I'm going to save them, and I'm going to use them when I'm really drunk and I want a cigarette.
She got real excited.
They're so funny. They taste like shit, so what's the point?
It's like somebody put a package of Sweet and Low on a piece of chalk from your teacher's classroom when you're little, and they were like, hey, gnaw on this, and you're like, it's a Marlboro, but
right,
it's so wonderful and terrible, just like all those toys like that, like lawn darts. That was a toy that was before our time.
What's lawn
darts? What they sound like.
Okay.
Like Will told me about them. So they're like big ass, it's basically like little javelins for children. So like you throw it
on the ground,
like up in the air, so it falls and sticks in the ground. It's literally.
So what's wrong with that? Dangerous?
Yeah,
is that what
sharp
it is?
as fuck. Yeah.
Okay.
And then they, what's the other one? The plastic bubbles. Have you seen those?
No. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Plastic
bubbles. They have it's called plastic bubbles, and it would come in this little
and you do the tube
and then you blow it, but if you breathe in it all, it burned your throat off.
I didn't know that anyone was stupid enough to breathe it in.
If you're like,
no, that was like a rich people toy.
That was... Yeah,
I remember that was like rich people.
My grandma bought that for me when I was younger, and probably still have part of it in one of my lungs. So, yeah, terrible.
Better than suffocating and asphyxiating.
So here making plastic bubbles and smoking candy cigs.
Right?
What a life!
What a fucking life! That's amazing. I mean, I'm happy that we're of our age. I always say that. I was just talking to some friends this morning. Probably 28. Was the youngest. I'm 35, and then Brad's like 4. Like it was with Mario. He's like, I think he's 28 or 29. I'm 35, and Brad's in his 40s, and it's like, wow. Like we all became friends 7 years ago, and we're talking about this aging process, and it's great to talk about what we're talking about, because we're talking about investing, what we're doing to get out, not have any debt, and what our future goals are financially, because one of them's a banker, and apparently that was the topic of discussion when you have coffee at 7 a.m. But we were talking about aging and almost the fear of it, and how because of COVID specifically, we all are trying to live this life that we had never really thought about before, because it was always so important to work. Yeah. That was the goal and that was the dream. And now it's no, I think I want to live and either work really hard to retire at 50 or say fuck it and not make nearly as much money and focus on what you need to survive, or not to survive, to have a comfortable life, obviously. Yeah. But if the whole point of life isn't to make 6 figures, it's well, how much money do you really need to make? Yeah. I'd read a long time ago, my friend Maria had been it's $75,000. I was like, what's $75,000? She goes, it's $75,000, which this was definitely in 2010. She was like,
in today's money, that'd
be $85,000.
$85.
Maybe $90,000.
Yeah.
She was like, anything over that, you're not having a better existence of life or whatever. Your disposable income doesn't go up because you now have elevated all of your other expenses. So now your disposable income after 75,000 essentially was like irrelevant because you're just getting the nicer car. So you have the bigger car payment. So you're disposable. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Interesting concepts.
It is interesting.
We need to just be able to live our lives. I want to hike mountains and record this podcast with you.
Oh,
those are the life goals.
Well, I'm still in the goal, so I like that.
Yes.
I mean, that sounds fun. You would really like that.
I would
So
really like
you
that.
guys, make sure, send us money at...
Like, listen, subscribe.
I'll even go hiking if I don't have to work anymore.
Oh, my God.
Right? Look at that.
Heather says, I don't know.
I'll meet you at the top.
Your knees.
I do have a bad knee.
Your knee is where I'm like...
Speaking of aging, what the UPS guy told me one time, he said, you're getting older when you don't say right knee, left knee, you say good knee, bad knee. And I was like, I hate how right you are. And I also hate that you are 30 years older than me and you're telling me that.
It's probably not that bad because there's like switchbacks on most mountains. Do you know what a switchback is?
I sure don't.
So it's where no one else can see it, but where you're essentially like going like this to climb up.
Oh, so you zigzag.
Yeah. That's the best way to explain it. Those are switchbacks. And that's how you get up because you can't just go, you know?
I don't
So the reason it's
Murder means straight up.
Right? Anywho, should we talk about our podcast?
I think everyone came here to hear hiking stories and talk about finances. So I'm sorry that she's switching gears on you.
Right.
Go ahead and turn it off.
I would not be the qualified person to be doing that.
Murder nonsense. I wouldn't either.
So, right?
I'm like a kid that got a $100 bill from their mom and they don't know they have it.
I could have like one episode.
What?
I could do one episode of each of those things and that's it. And then I'm out of the rest of the information.
You want to talk about vodka? Holla at your girl. Or trashy reality TV. Or Kelly Clarkson.
Okay.
Okay, anyway, keep going.
I'm on it. All
right.
And things that are coming down the pipeline, just talking about the podcast, we have some exciting stuff. Our our episode is still in the ether. Never got it down. She's still lost.
We still have one floating around in the cloud.
Was that one with our intro video? I was about to talk to you about that. The intro videos that we've been doing, the intro recording, that was a part of it. We specifically recorded other things that we needed on that one time, and that's all stuck in the fucking thing. And we needed it. And
our trailer.
Yes.
That's what you're talking about.
Yes, the intro. That we've referenced it as an intro the entire time.
Our trailer's on there.
Yeah. And the trailer was a script that I wrote that I threw away the paper and didn't save.
Oh, man.
Yeah. No, fun times. But we are going to be working on some things next week. So I'm super excited since we'll have a little bit of time off. We'll be able to do some fun podcast stuff. So get ready for that. Be on the lookout. Today was also a wild card episode, was it not?
It was. It was and it is.
It was. And I don't know. I turned left.
What caused you to go down this route?
I have no idea.
Really?
I can't remember why. How do you know what route it is?
I have no idea.
Oh.
I'm waiting for you.
Oh, okay.
I was just curious.
I don't know. Oh, I know why. We had friends in town and we were talking about Louisiana.
Okay.
This didn't even happen in Louisiana, which is more funny. So they were talking about Louisiana. It made me think of New Orleans. It made me think of voodoo.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went down the voodoo train.
Voodoo train. That sounds like a good band.
This is oddly enough in Colorado.
Okay.
It's really essentially focused. It's like 30 miles west of Telluride, Colorado. Telluride is the most beautiful place I've ever seen in my entire life. Truly in my entire life.
You've said that before.
Oh my God. Life-changing just to see that much beauty in one spot. Mm-hmm. But my works cited page, let me get that out, is People magazine because that's obviously a riveting piece of factual information.
Listen,
Live Science, Telluride Daily Planet, and Telluride News.
All right.
So I don't really think there's a part of this where you're going to be like, oh, that's voodoo. Like that's why I was going to do Clementine Bonaparte, who is what is on like the list of the schedule that I said I was going to write. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It was like an old 1800s. There was a lot of missing information. Though those stories can be really interesting, it just wasn't what I was kind of looking for at the time. So this is a little bit different, but let's talk about what voodoo is because I think that's always fun. Let's do a little educational. I thought you'd be excited about this one.
I do like it.
So voodoo is a sensationalized pop culture caricature of voodoo, an Afro-Caribbean religion that originated in Haiti, though followers can be found in Jamaica, the Dominican Republic, Brazil, the United States, and elsewhere. Voodoo, I think I'm saying, a lot of these things I think I'm saying right because it just feels right.
Like I say every episode, they come here for the facts.
I
kind of like how you say it.
It feels right.
I like it. And you make a funny face.
Voodoo. It refers to a whole assortment of cultural elements, personal creeds, and practices. It includes an elaborate system of folk medicine and all that fun stuff. It's really a way of life. So it teaches a belief in a supreme being called the Bondi, an unknowable and uninvolved creator god. Voodoo believers worship many spirits called Iowa, each one of whom is responsible for a specific domain or a part of your life. So imagine if you're a farmer, you might give praise and offerings to the spirit of agriculture. If you're suffering from unrequited love, you might be offering to Urzuli or Frida, the spirit of love. So essentially, you can tweak it based off of what it is that is a need in your life, if you will. This originated with slaves who combined elements of their West African traditions and beliefs with the Roman Catholicism because those motherfuckers forced it on them. So in 1685, law forbade the practice of African religions and required all masters to Christianize their slaves within 8 days of their arrival. So not only were they taken from their homes, beaten, and used as an object, they were now told that they no longer can have their religion.
That's what I thought.
Fuck them.
That's so insane.
Unreal.
On top of everything else.
On top of everything else. Well, they were like, fuck that. Basically, they focused on adopting and kind of creating a synergized type of religion that was taking what they had before and combing it in, if you will, to Christianity in some ways. So really, they tried the best that they could to stay true to who they were. Yeah. And a lot of the fucking Christians who fucking sucked, in this case, I'm not at all admonishing any religion whatsoever, but the Christians of that time, right? They thought that voodoo and voodoo were terrible. And they assumed that it was focused on the occult, black magic, and Satanism. And even today, voodoo is often used as an adjective to describe something that is unknowable, mysterious, or simply unworkable.
Yeah, it's got like a bad rap.
Yeah.
Like just some of the other religions are too. Anything out of Christianity sometimes, in my opinion, my personal opinion, can get a bad rap just because it's the unknown.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And I mean, every time I've looked at voodoo, I've always thought it was fucking riveting. It was essentially a different level of witchcraft, if you will, and to me, once more, okay?
These are just our opinions. It's fine.
Yeah, I didn't write a book on witchcraft, and I'm not saying that, fuck that. Everything is different now. Mm-hmm. Like, things are just different. Witchcraft to me is like being very focused on nature, the elements, focusing on herbs, on colors, on crystals, on all of the dioceses and all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. I feel like voodoo is a level of that with their own practices that came down from the 1800s. So, which essentially is when witchcraft happened too.
It's interesting to hear what you're saying because I didn't know the background of it.
I didn't either. Till I got my googs on, girl.
Yeah, now it's our voodoo podcast. So
yeah. So
sorry, I wanted to do it one time.
Do it.
Voodoo.
I like it. You crushed it. So what happens when it turns deadly? I'm going to talk to you about it.
Oh, okay.
We're going to start the story, and I'm going to show you the cute little baby angels.
Oh, they're so sweet.
They're so sweet. So we have the beautiful and truly sweet, precious faces of 10-year-old Makayla Victoria Roberts and 8-year-old Hannah Elizabeth Rosalina Marshall. On September 8th of 2017, their skeletal mummified remains were discovered in a car covered up with a tarp in a wooded property near Norwood, which is off, who fucking cares, Country Road, Y43, and Thunder Road. And their bodies were too far gone. They essentially couldn't figure out exactly what had happened to them. Mm-hmm. And what I mentioned is that it was super close to Telluride. In that area, there was only like one other murder that has ever happened there. And it was like some woman was sleeping and someone came into her house and shot her while she was asleep.
Oh, God.
I know. Let's talk about how the fuck we got there. So we have this bitch. Her name's Madani Seuss. Kind of wild name.
What is
Madani Seuss. It's Madani, and then her last name is Ceus. Now, she has a Creole accent. She's from Haiti. She's 37 years old, and she believes that she is a spiritual leader. And essentially, she amasses some followers who believe, too, that the world is going to end. So very quickly, she creates a doomsday cult. Very quickly. Months. Over like only 4 months are people wild. Like sucked into it. Ugh. Now, it's 4 African-American individuals and 1 white guy. And the race will come into it, and that's why I'm even speaking it, because I have to. Yeah. And they were from Jamaica or Haiti. So they were from locations that believed in voodoo at their points. Yeah. So they don't say voodoo anywhere in here. But whenever you Google a voodoo murder or murders that involved voodoo, this 100% is one of the top ones that pop up. Yeah. So just as a reference there. She declares that these 2 little girls, 8 and 10 years old, tiny little girls, were possessed by unclean spirits during a past life. And she ordered that they were kept in the car as the group waited for the apocalypse before the 2017 solar eclipse.
Oh, my.
So it's likely that the girls died of starvation, heat, and dehydration. But because the bodies were partially mummified, by the time that they were found, they couldn't determine exactly the cause of death. So as part of her doomsday, who was a part, of her doomsday cult? The children's fucking mom.
Stop it.
Nashika Bramble, Madani's husband, Ashford Archer. Tell me that's not a badass name. I'm sorry. Fuck him.
What is it?
Ashford Archer.
Yeah, that's a good one. Kind of like an author.
Yeah, I kind of want that name myself. Definitely sounds like a rich white guy, though. And Frederick Alec Blair. Now, Blair owned the farm, and Blair is the white guy. He owned the farm where the children died, and he ends up striking a deal with prosecutors and pleads guilty to the accessory charge. Just so you know, he gets 12 years. This will be kind of relevant later on, but whatever. Mm-hmm. There's a fifth member who we don't talk about almost at all in here. There's a fifth member. No one really seems relevant except for Nashika Bramble because she was the mom, and Madani Seuss because she was the ringleader. As for everyone else, they seemed irrelevant. The fifth member who was also charged, her name is Ika Eden. She's from Jamaica, and she was found mentally incompetent to stand trial and is now in a state mental hospital in Pueblo. Wow. So I don't know what the fuck happened there. Now, as Blair ends up being a key witness for the prosecution through all of the trials, because they are all prosecuted individually, Blair recounts the same bizarre story of what had happened whenever he first encountered Madani Seuss, which it could be Medani or Madni. I apparently typed it out differently everywhere, so
it's okay.
Who fucking cares? Give me that red squiggly line underneath it. So he ends up meeting the group, at a truck stop near Grand Junction in May of 2017, and he invites them to stay at his Norwood property.
Wait, so he met
him at a gas station. I was like, you guys come stay on my property.
That's the first time he met him.
Yeah. And his parents said that he was 100% like sucked into some shit.
So wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
He said that he fell under Seuss's powerful spell and settled in with the group to await the total solar eclipse of 2017 and an ensuing apocalypse that allegedly claimed would transport them to another spiritual realm called Light Body.
Light Body.
Mm.
Wow. Light Body.
Seuss allegedly deemed the victims, who the group referred to as the Pinks. The daughters were called the Pinks.
Sorry. This is okay.
Unreal. I think she did it to pull their names away from the experience because she put them in that car in pink outfits. Pink outfits because they like to wear pink and it was their favorite color. So it's really fucked up, actually.
Yeah, it really is.
As I mentioned, she said that they were spiritually impure and banished them to Eden's, their mother's, 1999 Toyota sedan that was parked in a wooded area on that property, while the rest of the group continued to spiritually purify themselves.
What the fuck?
Now, Blair testified he was forbidden to have contact with the children and that food and water were withheld. Eventually, obviously, the girls passed away. Blair and Archer then worked together to seal the car with duct tape and ratchet straps and covered it with a tarp.
This is terrible.
Isn't it?
This is awful.
It's horrible. Now, she allegedly then banished Bramble, the girl's mother, who had become Blair's lover, but was in an advanced state of pregnancy by former group member Corey Sutherland, who is not involved in any of this, to another vehicle on the property.
Why are they?
But she ends up, look at this though, she gets out of the car.
Okay.
And that's what's going to suck because I'm pretty sure those little girls could have gotten out of the car. And that's what kills me too, that they stayed in there because their mom told them to. But anyway, Bramble, after one day, she fled to Grand Junction and turns herself in shortly after she realizes that the authorities have found her daughter's remains in a vehicle and that they took the other group members into custody.
Had the eclipse already happened?
I don't honestly know.
I was just curious.
It's a great question. I would assume.
Yeah, like she was like, "Oh, I'm not in what is it? Crystal light, body light, light body."
Crystal light, this motherfucker. While Seuss never threatened Blair with physical violence, she did threaten him and the others in the group with psychological and spiritual harm. So Blair had testified that he believed that she would harvest his soul if he disobeyed her, which was a fate obviously worse than death.
What?
Yeah.
That's so dramatic.
Yeah. A Telluride jury in 2019 found Archer guilty of 2 counts of felony child abuse resulting in death. He now has a 24-year prison sentence. A Montrose jury found Bramble guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder. She is serving 2 consecutive life terms in prison with no possibility of parole.
Good.
So the mom obviously got the worst part, as she fucking should. Yeah. Now, Seuss, whatever, She's facing the same charges as Bramble, but she ends up getting acquitted of murder by one of the juries, and they instead found her guilty of the lesser charge of fatal child abuse. And here, her attorneys, the fucking dance that they do makes me sick. And I'll talk to you more about it. One of the witnesses who called during the trial is this guy that I'm going to assume it's a guy. The last name's Kovault. I didn't get the first name, whatever.
That's right.
He was forced, I'm saying he, they didn't even say he, they're saying who, was forced to recount 3 times in exhausting detail during the investigation at Blair's farm of the girls' bodies, what was discovered and what they retrieved out of that vehicle that then became their tomb. So everything was evidenced, he said. An empty styrofoam ramen noodle container, an empty instant oatmeal packet, an empty juice bottle, an empty jar of generic creamy peanut butter, an empty full-size box of cornflakes that had been torn, an empty bag of brown rice, an empty can of Campbell's tomato soup, pried open with an unidentified sharp object, a pink Moroccan ramen packet, shrimp flavored, also empty. He used the girls' given names, Hannah's side and Makayla's side, to describe the locations of where those items were discovered based off of where their bodies were found. The moment of like, who died first? Like, to me, that's the worst way to die, is thirst and starvation.
Yeah.
So various garments of a child size were found on the rear floorboards, a pink tunic or a dress, and some pink and white leggings wadded up in a ball, which they may have taken off because they were so hot, because they were literally locked in a car.
Yeah.
A backpack containing feminine hygiene pads, a Ziploc bag of miscellaneous things, pens, pencils, rubber bands, drinking straws, a long cylinder bag full of human hair of Afro-American origin, so a bag of hair, the remnants of a journal, a pull-up diaper that was soiled with urine, child's drawings, deep drifts of fly pulpi, so lots of fly lit, a little pink ribbon about 8 inches long. Most days at the trial, Bramble wore a black suit jacket, but on the day of that testimony, she had actually worn pink. Fuck her. And that is actually like the color that became their names. They were known Pink 1 for Makayla and Pink 2 for Hannah.
Oh my God.
That's what they called them. Suze favored white robes and a white head covering at her own trial. And the defense team was basically just focused on making making first Blair look bad. So he was apparently trafficking weed, which is legal in Colorado anyway. But they were basically trying to cast doubt on him. I believe he probably lied in some moments, and they were trying to bring that up.
Yeah.
He was also the only white guy, and they tried to make it look like he was involved in the murders too. Now, apparently, Bramble was also a raging cunt donkey and that she had abused her daughters before. And that was brought out in trial as well.
That she abused them before? Of course I'm not shocked that she didn't before. I mean, you don't just go from telling them to go to their room to this terrible shit.
Right. The prosecution brings in pathologists, and they believe that the girls had likely endured starvation, dehydration, and hyperthermia or overheating.
God damn.
Now, her stupid fucking defense team, fuck them, countered with their own fuck them, stupid fucking cunt asshole. I hate them. They bring their own pathologist in, and they're like, the blowfly pupa, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but the nasty blowfly fucking gnat things.
What are you saying?
It's the pulpa, the nasty fucking fly babies that are big ass, nasty, wormy looking nasty shits that eat flesh really fast. Or not really fast. I don't know. They be eating flesh. They said that it can reduce even a well-fed corpse to skin and bones in a matter of days.
That's
so
terrifying.
Really, we think that you just created the illusion of starvation, that the girls didn't die from starving to death.
Oh my God.
Right. Fuck them.
I get that like defense attorneys are supposed to do, but like I think these sound like they don't have a moral compass.
And I'll tell you more.
I
will tell you more about how they
good.
don't have a fucking moral compass, because they don't. Stop trying to make it less bad to give a psycho less time behind bars.
I mean,
like, stop it. They're going to go to jail either way, so stop trying to give them less time, you fucking asshole.
Right.
Anyway, now there's 4 black defendants and 2 black victims. Let's just say that real quick.
Yeah.
And they're in a really white rural area in the community. But, of course, race is brought into it. Why, you might ask?
Why? Because
the defense team thought it would be appropriate to piggyback off of the back of, where are my notes? Floyd. Yes. So all of that had apparently happened right during the same time as it's George Floyd. Oh my God. I was like, why can't I find where I'm at here? Yes. And so they say it was an entire race thing.
Oh my God.
Against them because Blair got the less shitty deal and he was the white guy.
Oh my God.
Now, they also say that they called them the N-word whenever they were being arrested and taken into custody. The SWAT team took them, the other 4 people, into custody, but Blair was the one that went. He didn't get taken into custody with the SWAT team because he was the one who was telling them the truth.
I was going to say he cooperated, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Fuck their attorneys. Fuck them.
I mean, I get how it would look, but he was the one, regardless of race, that actually went.
Yeah. They pointed out that Blair had received soft treatment when being taken into custody, and he was given something to eat and allowed to borrow a cell phone to call his mom, and the other people were not. They were aggressively rounded up by SWAT team. Moreover, the defense team argued that Blair had received preferential treatment while he was in custody in the San Miguel County Jail, and he was allowed to commingle with other inmates and work in the kitchen, while Seuss was held in solitary confinement even as Blair passed contraband in the jail, lied to investigators, and allegedly violated his terms in his plea deal.
They put kids in a car. I don't care what race you are. They put kids in a fucking car.
Yes. And starved them to death.
Right?
Now, Madani, in the 1,016 days since she was taken into custody, she had been called many things. Amma, Yahweh, Mother of All, the Creator of Everything, Doomsday Cult Leader, Voodoo Witch, and Felon. Through it all, she invoked her right to remain silent.
She didn't say a word.
Nope.
The whole time.
Now, towards the end of her sentencing hearing on June 19th, she finally lowered her COVID-19 mask because all of this happened during COVID. And she took the opportunity to describe herself in her own words. Essentially an immigrant, mother, survivor of an abusive marriage, creator of heaven and earth and perfection. Here's what she says.
Oh, here we go.
Some of this is quoted by one of the people that I, like one of the places that I had cited. So just know that too. I cut some stuff out from around it, but I didn't tweak the verbiage. Yes, my name is Madani Seuss. She began quietly, her voice low and mixed with her Creole accent. For 26 minutes, she speaks. Oh, I do actually edit this, so my bad. Because I just
26 minutes.
For 26 minutes, she speaks. Basically a fucking tirade. This was my writing, where she attacks Bramble's character and the sexualized behavior of Bramble's daughters, who she alleged were allowed to watch porn at 8 and 10 years old and had been sexually assaulted by Sutherland, who is that other infamous person that knocked up Bramble.
Yeah.
Now, her children this is what she says. Her children started exhibiting the same madness, touching my children, she said. I would not allow my children to be defiled. Seuss angrily denied that she was responsible for the victims' deaths. I will stand on the truth until the day I die. Truth is truth, no matter what bias or prejudice, she said. Truth is naked. I want to know, where's justice? Finally, her words are all done. She cries and she goes, I want my babies to see me again. I want them. I want to tell them I love them. That is all. Because she had other kids.
Oh, God.
So before you even have to unpack it, let's talk about what the judge says. Carrie Yoder. She listened the entire time and then she says,
all right,
Miss Seuss, you have said a lot. Certainly more than we have heard ever. But what you were just saying and a lot of the ways you were just saying it supports the prosecution's case here. And we do know what happened to those babies. We do. We have a lot of evidence. They died because they didn't have any food. It's simple. They died because they didn't have any water. They died because they were ignored. They were ignored by all of you. So it's not a mystery. Mr. Blair doesn't always tell the truth. And she said she felt that he had deserved more prison time than he ended up getting.
She said the judge said that?
Yep.
Well,
but the bones of what he said are supported by what you said. And they're supported by what Mr. Archer said. And they're supported by what the witnesses said. It is very clear based on credible evidence presented and based on what you told me today. And you do believe you are God or a godlike figure. And then you, in fact, played God with the lives of Makayla and Hannah in the summer of 2017. She commended Seuss for her respectful behavior throughout the court proceedings. And I, under no set of circumstances, would say that you are an evil human being. She said, but how you conducted yourself was evil. Only the people in that boat would rise up, achieve light body, and go to heaven. And you had to get rid of the people who were evil, who were naughty, who were unclean. You were the captain of the ship. You were God. You made that decision, and you failed to throw them oars. and they listened to you because that's what they did. There was nowhere else to go. So they got in dutifully in their pink outfits. They were given no oars to get to shore. They were given no food to eat. They were given no water to drink. You made that decision. You were the captain of the ship. You were God. I just think it's tragic. And she goes, it's just so hard to understand. It's hard to understand how this happened.
Oh my, wow.
And that was pretty much the entire story.
Shit.
Ain't that some crazy shit?
I didn't hear it. I've never heard that before in my life. That's wild. What year was the trial?
It was 2017, and the trial, I think, was 2020 because they had COVID mask, so it had to have been 2020, 2021. And it was during George Floyd stuff. But here's my question. That means the girls could have gotten out.
I mean, we don't know that.
We do. They were inside of a car.
I mean, what if they broke the locks or something?
Oh, I guess they said duct tape.
Yeah, they taped.
Couldn't they have taken the window down?
They duct taped it and put they straps and shit around
yeah, but
them.
that was after they died. They went back and maybe I'm sure they duct tape. That's what I'm saying. 8 and 10. And you're probably just thinking that they're going to come back.
And they probably, they didn't know. I don't know. They're kids. Oh God.
Yeah.
That's insane. So they're going to die in jail.
Yes.
Good.
I got between 24 years. I think she ended up getting 24 years. She didn't get, I don't know that she'll die in jail.
What about her other kid?
I mean, Bramble was fucking pregnant with this all.
That's what I mean.
She's the worst and she deserved what she got. But they all suck.
They're all the worst.
They're all fucking terrible.
Even the guy that's like, come to my farm.
Yeah, he knew.
He at least went back and said something, but he still was
it doesn't
part
matter.
of it.
Yeah.
That doesn't make you any less
guilty. What are you doing just sitting there waiting?
And he's like, oh,
for the apocalypse?
This is bad.
And you're saying these little girls are bad because what their mom was... God forbid they did see porn. My God, what fucking psycho mom is that?
That's wild. I'm going to pivot.
Please.
A little bit.
Pivot away.
That was a gut punch.
I told you it was a sad one.
You told me it was, and
And I just think being
the judge's
starved to death when they're... So in one of the stories, right, at the very end, they write about how they speak about how the girls could have gotten out of the vehicle, like that there was a chance that they actually maybe could have just opened up the door and unlocked it. There's a chance of that.
Yeah.
And that if they would have walked less than 2 minutes, they would have found a food pantry. They would have found help. There was... Where they were located was centered around food pantries, a hospital.
They may have been scared to get out. I mean,
there's a million things.
They could have just told them, you're going to die if you get out of this car. They could have threatened them. And I'm sure it wasn't an easy, hey, sit in here and don't leave. I'm sure it was a very traumatic get in this car experience. And all of that is awful.
Or maybe they were like, hey, we're going to play. Here's your stuff. Here's some toys. Here's some food. There's a little bit of food in there. The kids had to figure out how to get the soup out of a can. I'll keep getting shitty, so please, all you.
Yeah. I'm going to take a little bit of a turn because I had no idea where to go on this one. And so I looked up submarine murders.
Submarine murders?
Yeah.
Murders on submarines.
I was like, let's shoot my shot because of the submarine that went down for the Titanic. So I shot my shot and I found one.
Man.
This is the murder of Kim Wall. Does that sound familiar?
Is it military?
Huh?
Is your story military?
No.
Okay, then no, I've never heard of it.
Oh,
I know a lot of military stories.
Okay, well, this is the murder of Kim Wall. Normally, I don't give the ending away at the beginning, but I'm going to anyway.
I sure did.
Yeah. I used Wikipedia. The investigation is a 6-part series on HBO Max, or what is it called now, Max. But I watched it for 5 minutes because I realized you had to read the whole thing because it's not in America. So it had subtitles the whole time. I'm like, I'm not doing this. So I watched 5 minutes of that. BBC.com, Inside Edition, and then episode 126 of My Favorite Murder because, we love our girls. Kim Isabel Fredrika Wall was born on March 23rd, 1987 in southern Sweden. I was going to try to put some of these towns in there, but sorry, Sweden, but I didn't want to butcher them. So I did not, and I just left it out. So Kim was super smart. She had a great childhood, and not much else was said about anything but her ambition and her drive was impeccable. They kept talking about how, normal, great childhood, very driven, bright future ahead of her after graduating high school. She went to college at the London School of Economics to study international relations, which is a very prestigious school, to say the least. It was very hard to get into. She got her bachelor's degree and then moved to New York to go to Columbia's journalism school, which is also super competitive. So she crushed that too. She graduated top of her class with honors and had a dual master's degree in journalism and international relations. You know, casual.
She's hot.
As one does. The whole time I was reading, I was like, basically, we love her. Friendly, warm, people liked being around her. She was a great storyteller, obviously, and gravitated towards quirky stories, like out of the norm, the people who didn't have a voice and all that. She even won, this was noted in several places, that she won the Hansel Meith Prize from a German newspaper in 2017 for reporting on nuclear weapons testing and climate change in the Marshall Islands. So she was going after like heavy-hitting stories and stuff. You hate your drink?
I hate this drink, guys. It's a Bang energy drink. Heather grabbed the wrong one. It's Georgia Peach. Number one, I only like...
I thought it was Georgia Peach, not Georgia Peach tea.
Yeah, it's sweet iced tea.
I don't like tea.
So Jaden makes tea just like my Meemaw, and every time I'm like, will you make it? Because I miss my Meemaw. I'm like, thank goodness that he can make the tea. But that's the only tea. It has to be Jaden's tea is the only tea. Fuck a tea in a restaurant. Or this bullshit.
Okay,
anyway,
so
sorry.
Kim wasn't afraid to discuss topics of people who are underrepresented in mainstream media. She was definitely a brave freelance journalist who she also wasn't scared to travel, and she would dive right into stories, and she was trying to make a name for herself, and she was doing a good job. As a female freelancer, she didn't bitch about the dangers of any of that, and she just continued to keep proving herself because, unfortunately, since she's a woman, that's what she had to do. She couldn't whine, quote unquote, about it. And she's amazing and we love her.
Seeing all those things, everything is a little bit different. I feel like when you're putting yourself at risk in violent situations, as a man, yeah, there's a good chance you're going to get killed. As a woman, we're going to get raped and defiled and then killed.
Yeah.
So there's a bigger level. And with a man, it's like, oh, you're probably up against somebody with the same skill set or physicality.
Yeah.
As a female, that is not the case.
Yeah. And she was going into some really sketch places. So one of her stories that she had interest in was about an inventor named Peter Madsen. Peter was a Danish inventor whose claim to fame started in 2008 because he had claimed to have constructed the largest privately built submarine on the planet, which I didn't even know was a thing.
Yeah, I don't know anything about submarines besides what we just learned.
Yeah.
Wait, what was it the library chick that would take them in a little submarine, right?
The
yellow
magic
school bus? The magic school bus.
What was her name? Everyone's yelling it right now.
I know. Yell into your mic, we'll figure it out.
Okay, listen to this, though. So Peter called himself an inventorpreneur. So he's just making up titles.
Sounds like it.
Fucking nerd. So Peter had three versions of his submarines. One was called the UC-3 Nautilus, which is 56 foot long, which I don't know if that's big or not, and who knows.
Right?
Yeah, he's a man, so it's probably really 50 foot long. Basically think like Elon Musk knockoff, like a knockoff of Elon Musk. If you bought Elon Musk on Wish.com, that was...
Miss Frizzle.
Miss Frizzle.
Miss Frizzle. And just so you know, they created a new magic school bus, and it's on season 2 right now on Netflix. It was Miss Frizzle. I'm so sorry. I had to know.
Okay.
And so I interrupted when you had a really awesome quirp too. It was the worst time, but I just like downed an energy drink.
I like that joke.
I did too. I'm
Miss Frizzle.
Sorry, you're going to have to redo it because I drank energy drink and I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So he was a knockoff Elon Musk, and I'm not
it's still a good one.
I'm not telling a joke. But
if you got him on Wish, is that what you said?
Yeah, if you ordered him on Wish.com. He becomes famous in Denmark for being super eccentric and obviously inventing his shit. So he charms venture capitalists into bankrolling all his projects and knows all the right people, and he's in all the right circles. Another thing that shot him into the spotlight is because he was a self-taught engineer. I didn't know that was a thing. I don't think I would invest if I was a venture capitalist in someone who was self-taught, but got him anyway. Christian von Bensten is a former NASA contractor and architect who actually partnered with him to form a collective named Copenhagen Suborbitals.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what I thought. I was studying those last week.
Suborbitals. Suborbitals. That's how you say it.
Sounds right. I mean, I'm not here to correct you. It's not my job.
It's not your job.
It's not my job.
This is basically a group of amateur rocket builders, which, again, I don't want amateurs. I want real rocket builders. But here we are.
How many hours do you have to do it before you go from amateur to, like, how many podcast episodes do we have to have before we're, like, no longer amateur podcasters?
500.
Is that really what it says?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm going to Google.
Okay. And then put your finger up when you're going to say it.
Yeah.
So you're not...
Sorry, Miss Frizzle.
Right? Okay. Their goal, the Copenhagen suborbitals, their goal was to eventually launch a rocket with a crew into space. This group of nerds disassembles in 2014 because, in a nutshell, Peter Madsen was a wackadoodle.
I believe it.
Right? I thought you found it. Okay. He was described as an argumentative loner who would just legit throw shit at you. So if he didn't like what you said, he'd just throw a wrench at your face.
So he's basically like the bitches that are in all the concerts lately, just throwing shit at the singers.
Like, here's my mom. Like, right. You just gave me
I was like, here's a cell phone.
Pink, I love just like a pill. Hold my mom. I want to know what song she was singing. I forgot. And men, of course, didn't find him that intimidating, but women felt super threatened around him. So, foreshadowing. This guy even ended up writing an autobiography about him and described him as, quote, angry with God and everyone. He had a hard time getting along with other people, and his lofty ambitions caused him to want to do everything his way. After this, he created Rocket Madsen Space Laboratory.
FYI, I could not find the answer to that, so I've retired from my attempts.
I would say it's episode 54 because that's what this is. So
and
we'll say that. Actually, it's 55, but we don't count the cloud one, so 54.
I also did read that, or we should probably have shorter episodes. So everyone, I'm interrupting Heather's broadcast to tell you, let us know if you think our episode should be shorter, because based off of what I just read in 4 seconds, that we should probably be within 30 to 40 minutes. And we are always over an hour. So let us see.
But like I said, after this, Rocket Madsen Space Laboratory. How dorky does that sound?
That sounds so fucking dumb.
Like, it sounds like a cartoon.
Maybe it sounds cooler in a different language.
No, he's an angry little monster nerd. That's like,
I know, but I'm super curious if it sounds way better in there.
Like translated?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because it could just sound real cool.
Well, in
a lot of things
English,
don't translate well.
It sounds dumb.
It sounds very dumb in English.
He started this group to actually go against the suborbitals. So he was petty Betty, pretty much.
This is so lame.
Right?
Like, everything you're saying makes me feel like a loser.
Why? I'm not in it.
I don't know. I'm not the one fighting the suborbitals, but I feel really dorky right now.
I know, right? We're going to play Dungeons and Dragons after this.
I'm going to go home.
Not that it's dorky, to each their own.
Right. I mean...
Okay. We're like, we should have shorter episodes. Makes noises for 20 minutes.
Right. Nailed it.
Crushed that. On this website for this new group, he wrote, and I quote, "My passion is finding ways to travel the worlds beyond the well-known." He's a nerd. In 2015, more shit comes up with this new group that called the Volunteers, who were maintaining the UC-3 Nautilus, and they all bailed because he's a fucking asshole. So he couldn't even keep people working for him at all. Then on his website, after he gets in a fight and everybody walks out, he says,
"Oh my God."
He says,
was he short?
In my head, he's little.
He's definitely short.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
He
Continue.
says, "You may think that a curse is lying on the Nautilus. That curses me. There will not be peace on the Nautilus for as long as I exist." He put that on his website.
What's the dude's name? Now I got to Google this.
Peter Madsen.
Okay.
Okay, listen. Okay. In 2016, Kim Wall had contacted Peter Madsen to get the scoop, and she was trying to get an interview with him because that's the kind of stories that she likes, right?
Yeah.
Well, he ignored her for an entire year. Did you find out information?
No, I just see a stupid, ugly face.
Okay. Well,
and I'm kind of freaked out because obviously something happens here and I'm just fucking flabbergasted in this story.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry. So I am trying to find his height though.
Okay. In 2017, Kim she's 30 at the time, and her boyfriend, and I think it's Ollie Staubby.
Oh
I could
my
be wrong.
God.
Ollie Staubby. What?
Homeboy's 6 feet tall.
No, he's not.
He's fucking 6 feet tall.
Well, I hope he has a small penis.
Man.
I hope he's not a grower or a shower. That's what I hope.
I hope it's all weird looking. Okay, I'm done. I'm fucking annoyed. I'm mad that there is a short man out there with a great personality and a good fucking 401k plan.
That's right.
With no debt that deserves his height.
That's right. And it got wasted on this asshole.
Right.
So 2017, Kim, she's 30 years old, her boyfriend Ollie, and he's like a designer or something. They decide, hey, we're going to move to Beijing, as one does, right? On August 10th, 2017, her friends threw her going away party, and guess who returns her phone call? Publishers Clearinghouse. No, that Peter guy. Petey, little Petey. I wrote Petey. I said, Petey's like, hey, girl, let me show you my new submarine and I'll let you interview. He was like, hey, come on. And so being the amazing journalist that she is, she leaves the day of her own party. We don't know if it's the actual party or it's that day, though, sometime, to meet him. And her boyfriend and her friends are like, well, it's her work life. So they're just like, see ya. And she tells her boyfriend where she's going to meet him and leaves. She meets Peter with the submarine at the harbor, and a boat that was passing by ended up taking a picture of them on it, like standing on it, getting ready to get in it, just because they were like, oh, shit, that's a submarine, because you don't see that every day. And that's the last time anyone saw her alive.
I'm so annoyed.
Yeah.
I need to know everything.
I'll give you as much as I can.
I want to steal the paper and skim it really fast. I need to know how and why.
Okay. Well, after 8 hours go by, right? Nobody hears from her. So at 2:30 in the morning, Ollie's like, all right, this is fucked up. And then he calls the cops and reports her missing. He tells them the whole story because he knew who she was meeting and where and all that. So he gives them all that. Well, a few hours later, someone called the cops because a 46-year-old dude was on his personal submarine that was sinking. Yep. They take Peter in and for questioning, and he's like, oh, yeah, I don't know where she is. She was fine. I dropped her off at the harbor. She was going to a restaurant at 10:30 p.m., and she was fine last time I saw her.
Oh, because that's when we go to restaurants. Mm-hmm. Europe is weird, or whatever.
It is different. Yeah, we like
they eat
grandmas. I'm like, it's 5:30. I'm withering away.
Yeah, well, they start work at like 11 a.m. or some shit.
Authorities recovered the sunken submarine, and they start to investigate it. They found some blood, which ended up belonging to Kim Walls. They also found a saw and a screwdriver on board and can tell that the motherfucker sank his own submarine.
Oh, he did?
Mm-hmm. They confronted him with this info, and he was like, oh, yeah, okay, I'll tell you the truth then.
What?
Because he didn't think they were going to find it.
The submarine?
Yeah.
Okay, so they thought, so he sank it thinking they would never find it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Just trying to make sure I'm picking up these breadcrumbs.
You are. Okay, so he was like, oh, well, she was getting out and the submarine, and I was holding the heavy-ass hatch door on the top, and it slipped out of my hands, and it busted her in the head, and she died instantly. And then he's like, well, I panicked, and then I didn't know what else to do, so I buried her at sea. So he said he was letting her out. He dropped that heavy-ass hatch on her skull, and she died immediately, and then he just gave her the old Viking burial because he panicked.
Okay. Is that real? Is that true? Tell me everything, Heather. Stop reading and make eye contact with me. I need to know. I am on the edge of my motherfucking seat with this one.
Then on August 21st, so 11 days later, a torso washed up on an island nearby.
A torso, Heather.
I know. Then it was found by a cyclist. So forensics confirmed that was Kim.
Oh, my God.
I know. She was stabbed 15 times minimum in her lower torso. Then on August 31st, a bag was found with Kim's shirt, skirt, socks, and shoes. And the bag also had a knife in it and was weighed down with lead.
I have so many questions.
The same day, another bag weighed down with lead had her head and her legs in it.
Fucking
So then they're like, Petey. And Petey's like, I'm calling him Petey because he's a fucker. Then he changed the story again because he had no choice at this point.
Obviously.
Yeah. They found her head. She didn't have any head injuries at all. So, if you get hit with a fucking submarine hatch.
Well, I mean, she was stabbed, so.
Yeah, but you know what I mean?
Step one is there was stabbing.
Yeah. And he said, okay, this is really what happened. We were above the water in the submarine, and he was up on the deck parch, which all the submarines I've been on, I've never been on the deck. I don't know what they look like.
It's the top before they get anyway. Yeah.
No, I know. And she was down on in it. He said that she died of carbon monoxide poisoning due to a leak, and he panicked.
Oh, my God. He is a fucking idiot. So why is she stabbed?
Yeah.
So why is she cutting?
Spoiler alert.
I'm getting so mad.
Spoiler alert, the autopsy did not show carbon monoxide in her lungs. Then he was like,
no way.
Right? He goes,
she was so pretty, too.
I know.
Oh, my gosh. She was so pretty.
She was awesome. We love her. He was like, well, I panicked. This is what he kept saying. And I didn't kill her, but I did dismember her and throw her into the ocean, or as he put it, he buried her at sea. On January 16th, 2018, he was charged with murder, indecent handling of a corpse, and sexual relations other than intercourse of a particularly dangerous nature, which I had never even heard before. The last charge was because during an autopsy, they found stab wounds inside and outside of her genital region. Yes. March 8th, 2018, the trial kicked off, and the prosecutors were going into detail about how Peter Madsen tortured poor Kim before killing her by either slitting her throat or strangulation. They said he had psychopathic tendencies and gave tons of reasons to back this up. They also found some fucked up snuff films on his computer, which I had to Google, and I want to say that on here in case I get put on some weird list
You
or
had to
something.
Google what snuff films are?
I've heard it before, but I wanted to make sure that's what I thought it was. But it's basically porn that shows an actual murder in it, which I didn't, in my head, I don't think I thought it was that bad.
Oh, sister.
Yeah.
We've watched stuff with it. It's like it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's fucking terrible.
Yeah. They also had witnesses who testified that they'd seen him watching decapitation videos and asphyxiation stuff too. And basically, he's a creepo, and they were proving it. Peter even got up to testify, which I don't know whose idea that was, to let him.
So you can't tell him no.
Yeah.
The same thing with like Jodi Arias going on.
Yeah.
You can't tell them no.
You can advise them, but he didn't listen.
True narcissists usually can't help it.
He definitely.
Because they want that moment. Because they're smarter than you.
Yeah.
They know what really happened. It's not what.
Well, he's an inventorpreneur.
Oh my God.
Okay, so when prosecutors asked him about dismembering poor Kim Wall's body, he said, and I quote, "I don't see how that mattered at the time she was dead." In like a tone where.
The worst part of any murder experience for an average murderer, I don't know what the fuck that is, but is literally that part. Like when those crazy sisters who were hopped up on coke, like fucking cut up that dude's body, like that was the worst part.
Yeah, and he's like, well, I don't see why. He didn't understand why they were asking him about it. Like he didn't get
He's
why.
Like, well, that's obviously what you do to a body after you kill it.
Yeah, he didn't understand why they were mad. He gave them like a weird attitude back, like why?
Yeah, like what is the concern here?
Yeah,
that's like I threw away my Whopper wrapper.
Right.
In the trash can. That's what you do. You crinkle it up and you throw it in there. He's like, that's what you do. You chop them up and you put lead in a bag and throw them over. Oh, fuck her.
He's garbage. I even read that, like, in a couple places that he slept with her dead body on the actual submarine for 2 hours. But first he was contemplating killing himself, but then he decided with his terrible plan and said that's what he thought was a good idea.
What, the disposing of her body
and hiding all the evidence instead, because they were like, why do you have a saw and why do you have a screwdriver down there? Like it looked out of place compared to all of his other things on his submarine.
How was there not a ton of blood?
There was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So on April 25th, 2018, Peter Madsen was found guilty on all charges and got life in prison in a Scandinavian prison, which apparently sucks balls pretty hard. He was placed in what they called forvaring, I think, which is preventative custody with no time limit for prisoners because they were so dangerous. And normally that's the harshest penalty allowed by Danish law. And typically you have to be like a serial killer to get that. So he was so fucked up that they gave him that too.
Damn.
Kim Wall's family and friends founded the Kim Wall Memorial Fund, and it's an organization that supports freelance female journalists who went after the subcultures and gave the people without a voice. They've founded that, so...
Question. Was there ever any explanation as to why he chose her and why he decided to do that? Because the 2 seconds that I looked it up, it said premeditated. So that he had planned it. And so he planned to kill her specifically.
But the weird part about all that is that she, like I said, she reached out to him for an entire year.
That's what I don't understand. Maybe he didn't Google her and realize how gorgeous she was. That's kind of my first thought.
I'm pretty sure that's what I got.
He didn't realize who she was.
I didn't really find it to where I'm sure it's in that 6-part show that I didn't watch that dove in deeper to it. But it's so fucked up. And someone even made a documentary about her life. That's how amazing her 30 years on Earth was. It's called The Woman Who Wanted to Tell, because she told so many amazing stories.
Oh my gosh.
They said her murder is said to be one of the most gruesome in Scandinavian history, like ever. And that is the sad, terrible murder of Kim Wall.
I have a question. Mm-hmm. Great job. That's not the question.
Oh,
great job?
Question? No. I'm like,
I thought you did a great job. Very sad story.
Yeah.
So did he rape her and then attack her? Do we know the order of events?
I don't think they know. I don't think it's... They
because
don't know
the torture part, I'm like, did he just stab her a whole bunch and then...
Yeah, they didn't really lay it out. And I didn't really dive in too deep because it was so... anyway. Like, because it's only his word on the submarine anyway, and he's such a fucking liar. Like, they can only see what they could tell from the evidence, and they could tell that he did fucked up shit, like slit her throat and strangle her and stab her internally.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's how they could tell that part.
Man. That's horrible. Yeah,
it's really fucking
and I hate whenever you just don't fucking know the rest.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know what really happened.
Yeah.
I want to know why he chose her. I want to know why he chose that day. Like, I feel so bad for her boyfriend.
It was her going away party, and her boyfriend was like,
yeah.
hey, we're going to start this fun life together in China, and all her friends were there.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, there she goes again. That's our girl doing a great job like she always does.
Yeah.
And he was probably so proud of her. Like, and I want to watch the whole thing when I can sit down and focus the HBO thing, because everything I read says it does a great job. But I literally was like, I'm going to have to read all of this.
Yeah.
And I was being lazy. So maybe
Or
we
you
can
were
watch it and then you can read it to me.
I'll pass.
Oh, it's worth a shot.
Because I don't want to do that shit either.
Oh, come on.
Man, what a bummer.
Yeah, these were
super rando and super wild and sad.
It's weird how we both picked them.
Yeah.
I mean, mine was just because it was in the news, and I was like, I never hear the word submarine, and I've heard it more in this time frame than I have ever.
Yeah,
because of the story. And then I was like, and then leave it to old K and G from My Favorite Murder to bring it on home.
Yes, Heather always takes her stories from another podcast and then references it on our podcast.
Well, that one I just got the idea from, because I mean, that's the only submarine story I could find.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah.
You know? And last week I was just being lazy.
Heard that. Heard that. Well, you guys, we love you.
Yeah.
We appreciate you tuning in.
Rate, review.
To our audio project.
And subscribe. Subscribe, rate, 5 stars, and then review if you wish.
Uh-huh.
That's what I think.
Says Heather Terry. Well, thank you guys. We can't wait for our next episode, and maybe we'll actually do one topic like we keep saying we're going to, but we just keep getting so overwhelmed with everything that's going on in life. It's so hard.
It's so
hard.
So hard.
Indeed. We love you guys.
We love
Thank you.
Bye.
Kaylee, bye.
Theodore, can I pet that dog?